Hello beautiful, welcome back to Nat's Beautiful Life. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my March wrap-up. If you are new to this channel, hello, my name is Natasha. I do videos on books, bullet journaling, art journaling, media, basically anything I want to do a video about because hey, why not? I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into the books, and there are some other videos that I will put in the cards and in the links below because there are more in-depth thoughts on certain books within those videos, but they are books that I read in March. I'm going to get my bullet journal out, or my reading bullet journal out. My spread for March look like this, and if you've watched my last art journaling session, I think I actually showed you a little bit more in depth for this. So let's just go ahead and get into the books. The first book that I listened to was The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. I did the audiobook. I think I said that already. I listened to it. I loved Station 11, and of the two, Station 11 is still my favorite, but I actually did enjoy this one. I know some people have said they were kind of let down by it or it wasn't the same, but I really enjoyed it because it just fit with her writing style. And her writing style is multiple POV in an odd situation a lot of times, and they all kind of come together at some point, even though you don't know how that would possibly happen. And it's kind of a mystery and also a little bit of literary fiction, and just go in blind and enjoy it. That's what I have to say about that. Just go in blind and enjoy it. It's a good time. She's very good at doing foreshadowing and then backing up and all of that. So I did enjoy that one. I do recommend it. Good times. The next one was Little Dancer, aged, well, wait a minute, 14, by Camille Lawrence. So it says the true story behind Degas' masterpiece. And I was expecting to actually learn a little bit more about this specific dancer. And she does have a name. I know this name, Marie Van Goghen. That is the actual little model's name. And she was a dancer with the Paris Opera. She actually couldn't find out a lot of information about her past this. Sitting for Degas, and also I believe she's also modeled for him before. Her sister did. Her sister actually became a well-known ballerina. Not much is super known about her other sister. I can't remember. I think it's her older sister. Her younger sister, I think, is the one that became the ballerina. Her older sister, not so much. She kind of fell into the underworld kind of thing, and this was more like a love letter from the author to this girl. So it's a little bit of a love letter, like I said, from the author to Marie, because you think you're going to learn a lot more about this particular model, this particular person, but you don't. She finds what she can find out, but then it's a lot of supposition, a lot of talk about the Degas and his contemporaries. I did learn a lot about the whole situation with the Paris Opera and the ballerinas and their mothers and this whole world that is a bit scandalous when you think about it. And I did enjoy learning more about that. I would like to learn a little bit more about that as well. But I did enjoy the book. However, it's a lot of it's like basically an essay and her thoughts and her suppositions about the time, the little girl, what may have happened because these things did happen, blah, blah, blah. But you aren't going to really get into the life of this particular little model. So just be aware of that, and that is one of my translated works. So that is translated from French, and so I've kind of got a long list of translated works I wanted to read this year, and I have some in the past. So if you want to know what those are, there is a Goodreads. My Goodreads link is down below, and I do have like a whole shelf of translated works. Hopefully most of the stuff that I've read or will read that is translated will be on that list. If not, let me know. The next one I listened to was All Her Little Secrets by Wanda Morris. This was a mystery. Did the audiobook again. I heard about this one through Books and Lala. I think this was the Literally Dead book club book, or maybe it was one of the other book clubs she's in. They were reading this book, and it's, like I said, a mystery. And I talked about in one of my other videos how I had found a mystery that finally did it for me. But this one I also really loved. I liked this book, and I liked it was unique in some of the things that happened. However, what was not unique about it, and even though I loved it, it was another one of those cases where we have a very powerful lawyer who's very intelligent, very worldly, understands the way things work, dumbed down to just plain stupid on some things to make the plot work. I hate that with a passion. This did it big time, but for some reason it still worked. So I gave it a 3 because I liked everything else. I liked the relationships in this book, as far as like the brother and the neighbor who basically was their mother, all of that, all of the stories from behind. There's another mystery from like way back in the day, and then this book is one of those that kind of got me, like it got me. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this book. The actual book itself is great. However, again, the dumbing down of this really intelligent person to make them absolutely stupid in order to make the plot work does not work for me. But this book otherwise worked for me. Take that as you will. It's a good time. So again, it's a lawyer who is working in this company, and she's basically the only African American in the whole company. The man she is having an affair with is found dead in his office, and she winds up taking his job. And there's some other things in the background. There's like people are coming against the company because they don't hire minorities, and so here's their black lawyer, and then there's just so much to this, and I don't want to give it away because it just delves so deeply into so many things, and not even the big, like, those type of moments are the only thing. There's like this other mystery, this other thing that's happened way back in the past, and some even further than that, and you're learning all these deep kind of secrets along the way, and yeah, this was a good book. I did enjoy it. Like I said, the dumb down of the intelligent woman for plot purposes is lazy writing to me, and I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense, but everything else redeemed this book. So I do recommend this one a lot. It's a good mystery. I do recommend it, and the audiobook was really good. The next couple are ones from my reading most anticipated books of YouTubers video. So we have The Wolf of Oren-Yaro by K.S. Veloso. I really enjoyed this one, and I did purchase the second one, and I want to continue this month my reading of this. Sorry about the shadow on my face. There's a light here right now. I don't know what's going on. I had a situation setting up to film. So how about this right there? I really enjoyed this book. If you want to know more of my thoughts on it, check out that video, reading YouTubers' most anticipated books of 2022. The next one was Night Shift by Alex Finley. This is one of the best mysteries I've ever read. If you want to know more information about this, more deep thoughts about this book, again, YouTubers' most anticipated books, check that out. But I gotta say, they didn't dumb it down anybody. the twist, kind of like whodunit at the end got me. The flow and the characters and all of that along the way, great. I enjoyed this book so much. So we have a mass murder that happens December 31st, 1999 at a Blockbuster, and then 15 years later, another mass murder that happens in an ice cream shop, and it's just awesome. Check it out. Highly recommend it. That was like a 4-star mystery, which I never do. All right, next one is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. Again, check out that video about the most anticipated books. I didn't care for this one. I really wanted to. I love Sabaa Tahir. Her writing, the way she puts things together. I just really have enjoyed her stuff. She's put out a series, but I don't know how much extra else she's done. But like I said, I've taken a class by her. Well, I said this in the other video. Taken a class by her on character development and all of that. It's intense. This book has some very serious topics in it, but it just fell flat. It's kind of boring. And I listened to the audiobook and it didn't really move along in action until like the last 4 hours. So it's not one I don't recommend, or okay, it's not one I say, hey, go read this, it's amazing, but I also don't say don't read it. So just know it's a slow burn if you want to do that. Okay, next one, it was our book club book of the month, which is The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. I have a whole book chat video just on this book alone. I will link that everywhere. So if you want to know my in-depth thoughts, including some spoilery thoughts on this book, then check that out. I really love this. The main points that I would just kind of share with you on this and for this video is unique kind of magic system. Kind of works like they take bone shards and put like a code or something on it. It's bone shard magic. They'll write something like a command or something on the bone shard and put it into like something they've made. Like they'll take like pieces of different animals, put them together, put the bone shard in, and then it comes to life and answers that command. So very unique. We also have a smuggler whose name is Jovis. He has an animal companion, which is like one of my favorite things in the whole book is their relationship, the two of them together. We have a governor's daughter, and we have another little plot going on the side that grows and becomes much larger towards the end. Not necessarily in this book, but it's set up to become something great in the next book. But I really enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to reading the next one. The next book was Next Year in Havana by Chanel Clayton. I did this as an audiobook. It is historical fiction and a dual timeline. So we have Alicia and her family. They are in the 1950s, like late 1950s, early 1960s. They, when we start the book out, they are gathering themselves. They're not really gathering anything else, and they're going to the U.S. They're basically fleeing Cuba. And that's where we kind of start. Her family is very rich. They were sugar barons, and her whole family, like her mother's French royal or Spanish royalty, and all of this stuff. And her granddaughter, Marisol, in 2017, after Alicia has died, is smuggling her ashes into Cuba and wanting to spread them there and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I love the historical part of this book. That's normally what happens with a dual timeline. So I really enjoyed that. With the modern as well as the historical, you'll learn things. And I love reading historical fiction books of real events in real places, because it gives you a place to start if you're like, huh, is that really true? And then you can look it up and all of the stuff. So the modern version gave me like kind of like what it's like to be in Cuba now, not just the touristy parts, but the way the rest of the people live. Also, there's 2 different types of currencies. Not everyone's allowed to earn them. All of that. The historical one starts before the revolution and then just crawls ahead. And you learn a little bit about the Cuba that people had to leave, and then you learn about the Cuba that is there and the people who stayed and all of that. I loved Alicia's character. I loved her sisters. I loved that whole story. Marisol's story, every time it went from one to the other, I was just like, oh, fast forward if we could. Again, I learned things and stuff happened, but there's a lot of things I really did not like about Marisol's character, and I didn't like about the story. Number 1, insta-love. There is an insta-love connection there with her grandmother's best friend's grandson. So insta-love there, didn't like it. Also, she finds out this one thing, and it's like, I didn't know my grandmother at all. My whole life is a lie. And I'm just like, you are a stupid, stupid person. And this literally, it made me angry, because I'm like, something your grandmother, like the way her life was, what happened within like an 8-month period when she was 19, does not make her a lie, you a lie, everything like that. It just means she had something in her life that she didn't share with everybody, you know? For 60 years, she lived in the US, you know, with her family and did all these things, and that's who she was. You're truly who you are. Your grandmother, truly who she was. Give her a break, you know? And I did not like this character. It was another thing. Oh yeah, she seemed to know nothing about Cuba, which doesn't make any sense. She knew a lot about the old ways, the way things were before everybody fled, because those are all the stories. However, her family was still in contact with people who are currently in Cuba, and her grandmother, who she lived with, and a lot of her other family members and aunts and things like that, worked with refugees and things like that. They were fighting for things in Cuba here in the US. So refugees that had come over like in 2015, 2016, she would have had access to them and their stories. So she should have known something about Cuba. That was dumb. There was another thing, what was this? Oh yeah, she became a detective for some reason, and you know I hate it when like Murder, She Baked, where I'm a baker and now I'm gonna solve a murder. And that's what she kind of did. She writes articles for magazines like how to style your closet or blah blah blah, and she finds out this one thing and she puts people in danger trying to find this person. That was just annoying. The other thing is the dialogue and the writing was lazy at times, especially on the Marisol side. Didn't like that character. Almost every chapter had a spot where she said, you know, something like, and I really shouldn't be here, and yet, constant, and yet. And then we have, I wrote myself some notes as I was reading this. Oh, these are actual things in the book. Twice. I know I'm crying because my cheeks are wet. It's almost like I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. And then this one, I was like, my jaw hit the ground. We grow where we are planted. Really? I was just like, so anyway, I feel like I'm gonna try the second book in this series. I think there's 4, the 4th one's gonna come out this month. So I feel like I may try this because it looks like possibly the second book, which follows Alicia's, one of her other sisters, looks really interesting. The synopsis sounds just chef's kiss amazing. So I'm gonna give that a shot, see if I like it. If I do, I may continue. If I don't, I won't quit. But like I said, you do get a lot of the historical fiction parts. Whereas a lot of times in the dual timeline, you get a little taste of this and a lot of this. Whereas this one was pretty equal. So I liked Alicia's story enough that I want to continue. All right, last book. And if you would like this on this last book for me to have a full video where I really go in depth on my feelings on this, I will do that because I have lots of thoughts and feelings. I'm going to preface this by saying a lot of people are like, this book was 5 stars and I loved it. And I sobbed and I'm like, why? So I expected it to be 5 stars and just a masterpiece. And as I'm reading this, I get towards the end and I actually go and check out Goodreads at the reviews to see what people think. And I am not alone, okay? And the thing is, I'm gonna show you the book, don't worry. The writing for most of the book, like the actual things that the way she writes the story is really good writing. It's really beautiful. But there's a lot of sexual descriptions. They're very crass and crude and unnecessary. There are also some sexual parts of the book that don't fit with the story, don't make sense, that they're not necessary. I don't know what this woman thinks we want as readers. It didn't seem realistic at parts. The beginning of this book is beautiful, starts out great, and then it's just a tragedy over and over and over again. I gave it 3 stars because I did like some things. The writing is good, but the sexual stuff that was unnecessary, the tragedy that was just unbelievable, just didn't do it for me. And it breaks my heart because it's Pachinko. I wanted to have a 5-star experience with this. I wanted to find a beautiful multi-generational story. I wanted all these things, but I did not really get what I thought I was gonna get. It's tragic. It's just the only person who makes it, I can't even tell you that because it would be a big spoiler, but no. And I did enjoy the reading of this book. That's the thing, is like I said, the actual book itself, the writing. And I think this is a literature major, someone who enjoys the English language versus someone who's just there for the story. I think that's what holds it up for me. But, there are characters that you like more than others. There's some very gray characters. There's some very good characters. Very character driven in some aspects, but you don't always get the characters for very long. You are going to get Sunjae for the duration. So I'm just going to tell you like that. Is that her name? Sunjae or Sunja? You're going to get her for the entirety of the book. So I will tell you that. And the woman does her best. And yeah. But you fall in love at the very beginning. There's a boarding house and her parents own it. And it's a happy family and all of that stuff. And it's before the war. And then, yeah. I just can't even. I'm not going to say don't read this book, but I'm just going to say there's a lot of crude things in here. Even between, like, sweet husbands and wives. Language that I don't think these people would use. And if you read the book, you'll know what I mean. It's used to describe them. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about this, because I could go on and on and on, and I don't want this video to be 50 minutes long. So anyway, okay, that's my March wrap up. Thank you guys so much for watching. It has taken me a very long time to film this video today. you have no idea. But I appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you again very soon right here on Nat's Beautiful Life. Have a great day, gorgeous.